Hi, at this point in time I've made 3 videos about Transformers. One positive and 2 others making fun of it. And this time, I'm gonna make fun of it. Again, this is a video about gimmicks in Transformers. And before you ask, no, this is not a list. But if you want to know, they are ranked on how interesting I think they are. First is and the last one is enough talk.
Let's say go!
Our first gimmick on this list is very unique. By that I mean it's not unique. That's right, Action Masters. They don't transform. Now wait, they sometimes have tiny robots partner that transform into stuff, but I'll get into that later. This is widely known in the fandom as the worst idea for the toy line, especially when that was the only thing they did for a whole year, resulting in the franchise losing popularity and becoming obscure out of the likes of Street Sharks and Inhumanoids, never to be heard of again. But then Beast Wars happened, and Transformers has been going on ever since. Personally, I don't hate Action Masters because 1, I never had TF toys because 2, I wasn't around when it happened, so I don't understand your first world problem, ya boomus. The in-universe explanation for the Action Masters is where the real meat lies, for me personally. Sometimes it's something called Nucleon that boosts their power but sacrifices transforming. Other times they're named Monoformers, Cybertronians who don't transform because they don't have their golden ball inside of them that makes them transform because of reasons like politics, religion, and medical purposes. Oh, how the great Amalgamus Prime cries for this heresy. That was a very obscure reference for all of the hardcore TF fans out there. Hope you appreciated this joke, because I hate the only Action Master characters I know about are Rad, because he's called Rad, and he's stupid, and Croc from IDW Comics. I like him. Sometimes they brought old characters to become Action Masters, like Optimus Prime, Megatron, Devastator,
Starscream!
and my boy Thundercrack. Oh god, my eyes!
New Transformers are here! Micromaster Transformer!
Remember Micro Machines? Well, Hasbro remembers, because they made Micromasters, which is just the same thing, but they're Transformers. Galoob was then bought by Hasbro, so now they own Micro Machines, so they totally didn't steal the idea, am I right? Years later, we would get Minicons, which are just the exact same thing, only nah, it's the same thing. They somehow became more popular. We almost forgotten Micromasters existed in the first place. Maybe it had something to do with Minicons having a leading role in Transformers Armada, or like Micromasters, who only had supporting roles in Victory and Zone, that show where Devastator destroyed the Twin Towers. My thoughts on Micros and Minis? They exist, and I remember the Minis better because of Armada. The only Micro I remember is Holly from Victory, and he's by far the least awful thing about Victory. The most awful thing being the dub.
Come on, boys, let's hurry up!
We do have Target Master Transformers!
You might have caught on that the most of the gimmicks have Master in their names. Action Master, Micro Master, Prime Master, Battle Master, Titan Master, Action Master, Elite, and the topic of this segment, Target Masters. The gimmick here is they have guns that transform. There's also double Target Masters. It's the same thing, but with 2 guns. Whoa! This is the most nothing gimmick right above Action Masters. Also, I forgot to talk about the Action Masters robot partners, which are also transforming guns sometimes. So does that make them Target Masters? Do they not count because they don't transform? If that's the case, when Megatron transforms into a gun and someone holds him, does that make the wielder a Target Master? Remember the Megatron toy controversy because he looked like a real gun? And we can't let kids play with the guns because they could accidentally use real guns because kids are dumb. I see I've gone off topic. Maybe because there is so little to say about Target Masters. Other than they brought us Spinister, and I'm forever grateful for that.
To defeat the evil Decepticons, Nebulons team up with Autobots to become Power Master.
Now we're getting into the real meat and taters. With only 3 gimmicks left, with only 2 gimmicks with master in their name. The penultimate master one being Power Masters, or God Masters in Japan, which is weird because Christianity in Japan is very oof. Their gimmick is turning into the engine of the vehicle, meaning they are unable to transform without their tiny nebulan partner. I also forgot to mention that Target Master, Power Master, and the next one don't have tiny robot partners, but in fact human-like aliens in robot suit called nebulans, because having tiny robots makes no sense except when they do that. In Japan, God Masters don't have robot partners and or nebulans, but instead they are humans who turn into the actual Transformers. Notable characters include Overlord, who has 2 partners who are an evil married couple, making Overlord by gender. Optimus Prime, a form he had for a while in the Marvel comics until he melted. Jinrai, the main character of Super God Master Force, and an American trucker who, through the power of the Master Force, becomes a Transformer who looks awfully like Optimus Prime, but is a totally different character and also goes Super Saiyan God.
Tell me, what's your name? Optimus Prime. I'm Japanese.
At least it's not the Megatron level of confusing.
Transformer, the Headmasters.
Now for the only gimmick to have an entire show named after itself, and the last of the Master series on this list, but also the first of the Master series in the franchise. Headmasters. Like the 2 gimmicks before, it's another partner-based one, and all you need to know is in the name. Notable Headmasters include Fortress Maximus, the biggest Transformer who is powered by children that one time. Scorponok, putting that on the list of what he is. Chrome Dome, one of the most well-known gay characters in the franchise, along with his tiny husband Rewind. And finally, RC, whose Headmaster partner is Daniel after he got crippled by a robot dragon. Also, there's the Headmaster anime, which is a sequel to the original 1984 show, excluding season 4 where Daniel gets crippled by a robot dragon, which has a slapping OP. And a terrible dub.
Darn that sound wave.
Pretender!
Transformers can turn into a lot of things. Cars, planes, animals, items, pedophiles. But can they turn into humans?
Although you're in human form now, you still haven't changed. You're not a human being. It doesn't matter what you look like on the surface. You're just an imposter.
Why, yes, they can. Like how God Masters go from humans to robots. Pretenders are the opposite, kinda. In the anime Super God Master Force, God, I love that name, the Autobots hide among us as humans who turn into robots via Power Ranger and or Sailor Moon transformation sequence, while Decepticons turn into monsters that are smaller than their robot forms. While the toys and Marvel comics, their pretender shells are bigger than their robot forms, which is very counterproductive with the theme of robots in disguise. I guess there's an aspect of it being a power-up, but that's pulling straws at this point. There are also variants of pretenders, like classic pretenders, popular characters like Bumblebee, Jazz, Grimlock, and Starscream with human shells. Double pretenders, a bigger shell containing 2 robots. Reverse pretenders, a human pretending to be a robot who is like Godmaster, only horrifying. Beast pretenders, where they hide in a realistic animal shell while also transforming into robot big animals. Monster pretenders, a combiner team all inside monster shells who become Monstructor. Vehicle pretenders, where they hide inside vehicles while also transforming into a vehicle. Mega pretenders, a transforming shell that they can combine with. Ultra pretenders, a vehicle shell with a robot shell inside the vehicle with a robot inside the robot shell. My favorite pretender is Bludgeon because his shell is a skeleton samurai. Nowadays, his shell has become his normal robot form, and I love that. My least favorite pretender is Alice from Revenge of the Fallen, cause yeah. So this was my tangent on gimmicks. Tell me in the comments what your favorite is. That's all, folks.
Yeah, that's all, folks.